All right, so while I was working on that Bessemer bar project, I had rearranged some of the buildings around Northbrook, and this was one of the candidates. And I think it's going to stay in the spot that I had it parked in for a while there. This is an old design preservation miniatures Birdie's Tavern or Birdie's Cafe. I can't remember what they called it, but at one point I built the shell of this when I was working on another section of Northbrook a few years ago. So it's just been sitting around in this form for a while, and I think I'm going to get to work on it. I'll show you what I've got going so far. Originally, it was going to be, I think I was going to make it some kind of hardware store, and these were some of the printings I used from those Clever Model CDs. That's these guys here, and as you can see, I've been kind of removing this stuff from the building. I got to get the rest of this out because it's going to get a full-on 3D printed interior, much like the Bessemer bar. As you can see here, I've been pretty busy with my resin printer too, making up all these fixtures and stuff for the dining room and kitchen. So I'm gonna have some booths, and I've got some kitchen appliances here. These are my own little designs in Tinkercad, pretty simple. Had a couple go-arounds with each one, like the stove I had to redo again to get that handle. So should be kind of cool. I got some stew pots here. These are supposed to be coffee pots. And I got a shelf full of coffee mugs. And got a prep table. Some of these are recycled from my machine shop projects and stuff. I got a kind of a slop sink here. So some more pots. So this should be pretty cool. I'm getting ready to get these set up so I can paint them and get them installed. All right, so what's going on here is I had to kind of undo some of my previous efforts. I can't remember what I wanted to do with this building. I think I built the shell up just to try to fit it into a scene and decided I didn't really need it. So I had to deglaze my windows. They were pretty crudely done anyway. I had just E6000 some acetate in there, and I want to paint the interior walls. I think I'm going to do them all one color just for sanity. Probably just like an antique white. So getting ready to do that. It's spackled a little bit and sanded out, so I'll put some paint on it and see what it looks like, and hopefully it can start moving on with the painting of the first floor interior and assembly. So far, this is what I have for the first floor. So this is going to be some kind of a diner, and I'm about 90% decided on what the name will be. Anyway, I kind of doodled up this wall section here in Tinkercad and let it print overnight. And kind of cool. This is the supports that it was printed upon. Just get a kick out of this stuff. So here's the first floor base. I decided to do this in two sections. You can see it's indented to set these walls at some point. So this will be a dining area with a counter. This room will be a kitchen. This is a bathroom, but I think it's going to stay shut. I'll probably route some of my LED wiring through here and have the ballast resistors residing in this kind of dead space. And this implies there's a door to the basement, so it's just going to be shut. So kitchen and this rear hallway, and a set of stairs that you mostly won't see. You'll see when I start laying this into the building. I have to cut a base. I was going to cut a sub base or whatever out of 1/4-inch MDF, which I like to do, and this will sit upon it. So right now I'm going to start doing the floor coverings and painting these walls, and then I can get this kind of sub-assembly done. Here's kind of the basic concept for the dining room and the kitchen. just the general layout. Might not be the final layout, but that's kind of the basic idea. Counter in the back here, and I can play with these positions. Some of these, detail parts, these features, some are like a little small and some are a little oversized. It just depends what it is. Like I think my coffee mugs are, it's a pretty good sized coffee mug, but I'd argue that my seating is a little undersized. And it's just, I'm trying to play a game here. I want some of the smaller details kind of sweetened so you can see them, and also so that they're not so fragile when you print them. I'm just kind of stoked that some of these details come out anyway. Like if I'm careful in my Tinker Doodles, these handles will render out okay. And so far it's been pretty okay. So this is just kind of a basic setup. And pretty soon I'm going to start painting this all up. Just prepping the interior wall assembly for paint. So I spackled everything and added one door to this implied bathroom here, and I'm gonna leave all the other doors open. I trimmed them out with some scrap styrene I had. The neat thing about these PLA prints is that you can use like bonding to do just almost standard like styrene type work on this stuff. It's even good for repairs. You see I snapped that off. This is not the best design print. I probably should have put a kind of like a knee wall sort of thing in here just to support this back wall a little better, but whatever. It's going to get glued to that floor, and then this won't be removable when we're done. Not going to go too crazy on this back wall. This is the back hallway access from the back door. You won't see this very often. I might put some junk back here, some like, maybe like some like ladder and maybe some shelves or something, but this will not be seen very often, I don't think. This bathroom that's closed up now, this will be my junction box for the LED wiring, and I'll probably pop out a couple holes here to feed the first floor lighting, so I'll have a light in the kitchen, probably at least 3 or 4 on the dining room floor here, and maybe one dim one in this back hallway, a little offset, So I think that's what we're gonna roll with here. This PLA is pretty nice. I usually print my walls about 1.5 millimeter thick, or maybe 2 millimeters. I'd have to check. Don't quote me. I'll have to check on that, but works out pretty good. Yeah, I did print these to 1.5 millimeter. That's all you really need. I added some conduits to this wall assembly just to kind of spice it up a bit out of my scrap drawer here. Let's go take a look at what I did with the base. So here's my base. I made out of some scrap 1/4-inch MDF, and I've got my first floor base gooped to it. I use that goop a lot for stuff like this, for bonding dissimilar materials. Anyway, you can see I came up a little short on my print, so I just bonding some scrap styrene to the end here. But this is the first floor and base arrangement. Hopefully you can see how not square this vintage resin kit is, and that you need a bit of a sense of humor, I think, to deal with this sort of stuff. So you can see how that wall isn't exactly square down there. Same with this side. It's got a little bow to it. I might leave it go. Adds to some character, I think. Anyway, that's the first floor arrangement. And that's the first floor wall assembly nestled in there. So you can see the kitchen's got a window there. See the back hallway. Pretty cool. I got the front windows taped up, so I can't really show you how it looks through there, but kind of thinking I want to 3D print some frames for these windows. Alright, so I got the floor coverings in there, and these are some Clever Models prints from my Clever Models CD collection there. So this is kind of what the first floor layout's going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little weathering on the floor and the base, and then I can start on my interior color. But before I do the interior color, I have to assemble all my kind of interior glazing frames. So I have them all done on my 3D printer there, my Creality, and I'll have to get those attached to the glazing, but I probably got to get some paint on those too, so not so straightforward. All right, so I'm getting the wall assembly attached to the base and floor assembly here, and I really like using this Aleene's tacky glue. I find it's very forgiving. It's got a little bit of flex to it. It's really easy to work with since it's kind of water-based when it's setting up. And, you know, anything that oozes out tends to dry really clear. So you can see here's the kitchen area. Decided to mount my coffee cup cupboard there in the kitchen. I don't know how much detail I'm going to put in there. Like I said, it's going to be real hard to see in there. The one window is kind of set here, so I think I might put the stove in view. We'll see. Anyway, I just want to get this set because I want to paint the rest of the restaurant fixtures for the front here and get it assembled, and then I can start thinking about the maybe the wall details and lighting for the first floor, and then I can start on the apartment. All right, so I have my kind of retro modern look going here for the dining room. These are my Tinkercad prints in resin, real basic, but I kind of wanted a kind of a 50s look and maybe 20s 30s building sort of thing, you know, like maybe they got some modern fixtures at some point. Anyway, you can see some of my other little prints here, my coffee pot. And here's what I did in the kitchen. I don't know if I'm gonna do much more. I have some other details printed, like I got some more shelves with pots and pans on it and stuff. But since there's only one window and it's kind of centered over this prep table, I don't know if I'm gonna do much more. Really, I probably should have rearranged this, put maybe a grill on this side, or the stove and the grill might be on the outer wall here with an exhaust fan, but whatever. I'm kind of going for a little bit of stylization here, you know, and trying to get the most use out of, maybe put the most interesting prints I made in view of the window, if you can ever see. But that's kind of basically it right now. For the dining room layout, I'm going to add, like I said, a few more details I've got coming out, and then I came up with a ceiling complete with light fixtures for my SMD LEDs. This is the second floor, and the way it works, this print has some routing for the leads. That trapdoor looking thing kind of goes over the bathroom. It fits kind of like this. So I'll have a light fixture for the kitchen, the back hallway, and a few for the dining room here. So I'm gonna play around with this. I'm kind of anxious to see this lit up. And then once I get that figured out, I'll do some signage and stuff in here too with the final details, and then I can get to putting it into the shell here. Here's the front. I made some mods to this thing. I 3D printed these little window frames to kind of match this center, and I printed some frames for in here. I thought these windows were just a little too big, and they're still plenty big enough to see into the interior. So when I built this some time ago, this door was supposed to be inset, but some of the 3D prints were kind of beyond saving, so I did it kind of flat here. So it's a little different than the original DPM kit, but I decided to further modify it with some windows up top here. All right, here's my first floor ceiling, second floor assembly. So I got 7 LEDs total. These are those little 0402 ones that I used on my last project. and running them at about 5 volts here. So with these 1K resistors, they're about 50 milliamp a piece, and I think that's a good brightness for this building. So I'm going to finish up the harness. I'll have a separate wiring harness for each floor, and I want to put it in the building and see what it looks like. Looks all right, I think. See, the lights are way up there. Got a little mood lighting in the back hallway here. It's very subtle. I don't want this to be too over bright. I gotta do something about the kitchen there. That LED got pulled up, as you can see. Here's what it looks like over top right now. I'm actually printing a blank topper for this second floor, about 1 millimeter thick, and that's what I'll apply my flooring to. And then, kind of like what I did on that Bessemer bar, I'll make a print of all the walls with a roof support section up top here, so that'll kind of stack in here. So kind of very similar to how I did that building, where everything just kind of stacks on top of each other. So I'm in the mood to do a few more details. As far as the painting, they're done. I just gotta get them over here to the paint shop, and then try to get that first floor done up, and probably do my window frames for these windows. You can see how kind of rough the wall painting is in here, but I'm not gonna sweat it too bad for an old resin kit. It's not that awful. So I will continue on. All right, so I got a few more details going here. I made some napkin dispensers and some condiment dispensers here, ketchup and mustard here, and a couple extra little plates and stuff kicking around, garbage can in the corner, and I got these coffee urns. Now, I'm not old enough to see these, to have seen these in practice. The famous Nighthawks painting has a couple of them in the background. I'm not sure I've deployed them correctly. They're kind of stylized, but that's where they are. I was kind of thinking of putting them back here, but then things would have gotten a little tight. So I don't know if you can see from here, but I decided to make kind of like a grill line here for the kitchen against this back wall. Very basic casting or 3D print. You won't see it too much. You'll see a hint of it through the back door, and maybe over top through this window. Also got another pot in here with shelves and stuff. So the next is some of the soft details, like signs and maybe some napkins on the tables, things like that. Still kind of going back and forth about these figures. These are some experimental 3D printed figures made by the Make Human plugin for Blender. So I may try to make some more. I definitely need a waitress. I know Artista makes a real nice one. Maybe I'll just order a couple of them. But this is it so far. All right, so here's our dining room with a little bit of signage, some images I got off the internet, some stuff I've had for a while too. Typically what I'll do is collect a bunch of images, save them in a folder somewhere, and then I'll use Word, and I'll put a bunch into a Word document like that. That way I can, and Word's kind of easy to size them using like real life units, you know. So that's what we're looking like right now. Here's the kitchen deal. Sad thing is, I don't know if you'll ever be able to see this. So whatever. Back hall, you can kind of see through. You can see that grill I made for the kitchen, that grill and that kind of prep table there, and the back of the front counter there. You kind of catch a glimpse of the stairs going up. So anyway, next thing is to figure out the floor layout for the upstairs here. So I think this front section is going to be a living room, since it's going to be the most visible. And probably as we come around the side here, I'll have probably a kitchen bathroom, bedroom back here somehow. I gotta figure that out. Maybe a hallway going down the middle, and kind of figure it out. Maybe, I don't know, something to play around with here. All right, so here's my apartment walls. Mostly pretty successful print. Here's what's left over. Kind of cool. It came out okay first shot. Little crack on that short wall section there, but I'm not too worried about it. Basically, here's our stairs. I kind of had to play around with these walls because I wanted this door to fit a little better. Kind of narrow here. So, entry door from the back, hallway and stairs. This will be like living room area. I kind of went with an open design here a little bit. I got this like portal wall, and this will be like a little kitchen area, maybe a little dining. This is a closet. This will be the master bedroom and a bathroom back here. So pretty nice apartment, you know. So I'm gonna get to working on this. I kind of screwed this up. This was just a support wall. I made it a little too high. I might just cut it out. And I got quite a few things to resin print. I'm gonna make a closet door, bathroom door, etc. This is that shaft for the wiring, so it goes clear down to the base. You see the hole down there. That's where all the wiring will get routed through. Not sure what I'm gonna do for lighting yet. If I'm gonna do like just put some LEDs, sconce style, in each room, or if the lighting will be part of the roof assembly. You see, I'll have to do a little slope on the roof. That'll be a 3D print too, and we'll see. Right now, I'm gonna concentrate on getting the doors done, and I also gotta glaze these windows and get that done. All right, so I printed some door frames and used some bonding to get them on here, and certainly helped stabilize this little thin section here. So I printed the full frames. I'll just cut these out when I install the doors, and I'm gonna resin print some more doors. I really wish I could get a flatter print. These can get corrected with a hair dryer and stuff, but I gotta make a few more of these. I have like a closet door that's a little narrower, and then I can start painting this. So okay, here's the wall assembly for the second floor apartment, and I bondinged it down to the floor, which will in turn sit on top of this. This is the kind of subfloor, I guess, and the ceiling for the dining room downstairs. Anyway, so here's what I got. I 3D printed, these are resin print 5-panel doors. Nice thing about resin printing, I can make them in any width I want. Once I have one made in Tinkercad, I can play around with the dimensions a little bit. So that's a closet door I have. So here's one layout I came up with, and this is using some of the stuff from my last project. And I also made some apartment style kitchen appliances. So I got a smaller range and a sink, kind of based on the ones I printed for the downstairs. And I made a fridge. It's kind of okay. Got a dining room table in the middle. So the front of the apartment's kind of almost studio style. And I kind of put this I don't know, this portal kind of reminds me of my coaling tower in some way. So I don't know. It's kind of cool looking, I thought, though. So I wanted this open living room because, you know, you'll have these 3 big windows, and you can see clear the kitchen. I'm not going to bother installing some of these interior doors. This is the bedroom. I think it's a pretty generous size master bedroom suite back here. I can put in at least like a full-size bed. Just playing around here. I've got a little bit of work to do on the furniture. have to 3D print my own bathtub, and I'll probably compress it a little bit. Like I said, I'm trying to fit stuff in here without making it look overcrowded. This is a small footprint building, you know. I mean, this is a really tiny building, not as small as that Bessemer bar, but anyway, that's the general idea. I have the stairwell coming up here, you know, and you know, I could have laid out this floor in a bunch of different ways. I probably could have had the stairwell come up through here, through this blank wall, and this be the entry, but this is kind of the path I chose, I guess. So probably would have been cool to put a window through there so you can see. That's going to be basically the top of the stairs window. That might have been kind of neat, but whatever. I've got a bunch of paintings and portraits I scarfed off the internet. I'll make paintings with them, and so that's about where we're at. I guess I'm gonna paint up some parts, might 3D print some more stuff. I keep making variations of this like bedside table because it's so useful for all kinds of stuff. I got, as you can see, there's two different size ones there. Very simple prints in the old Tinkercad there. This is the resin printing department here. Nice Harbor Freight cart. Just running an Elegoo Mars Pro. Really like that. I've got one of these, hard to find now, curing stations. And I use the water washable stuff as much as I can. I'm really liking the Anycubic stuff lately. Here's some other projects that have been semi-abandoned here. Some of these were trial and error, you know. I made, this is a model of the MS Tower. This was where the Pennsy and the Erie Railroad crossed in Corey, Pennsylvania. And I do have a successful print of this. I also made it in HO scale. Nice thing about resin printing or FDM printing is if you make a model, you can rescale it pretty easy in the slicer. So here's also an octagonal shack. This is how I was learning how to orient these shapes and stuff in the resin printer. A little bit of trial and error here, and a bunch of extra parts. I could print, you know, I could paint these up someday. I'm playing around with some figures down there, and there's a bunch of leftovers from other projects, like the machine shops and stuff like that. I think the first project I did was these. These are the turnpike poles. I was calling this the Turnpike Provo project. The insulator is a Hemingway Provo #1, I think. It's a pretty large glass insulator. For many years along the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I think around the New Stanton area, there's a bunch of these. They've all been replaced now with more modern fixtures. But I had seen these for years, even into the early 2000s, and I always wanted to make a model of them. And that was the first project I did with a printer. I ended up coming up with this eventually. I really wanted to do these insulators separately and mount them on the posts. And I ended up doing the crossbar and upper assembly as sort of a plug-in to this styrene tube, and that's what this guy is. I have a bunch of these on my layout now. It was pretty easy once I got the basic design to make these double crossbar ones. I have some H fixtures, but these are the insulators that I did, and it took quite a bit of trial and error being my first project to kind of get these to come out right. And I don't know, maybe someday I'll do a separate video on my 3D printing adventures. I would do these a little differently now with all the stuff I learned. But anyway, here's some more progress on the floor assemblies. You can see I made quite a bit of progress on the second floor. I got some floor coverings in. I've got some furniture in place, some appliances. I 3D printed some table lamps that have some little 0402 LEDs inside. They're kind of like these little guys here I made. So it's coming together. I 3D printed a little bookcase with some books. There's my refrigerator. Kind of came out all right. I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm trying to decide what else I want to add here. Probably a coffee table, maybe another table with a old-time radio on it or something. We'll see. Here's the kitchen and kind of eat-in dining room scene. Had a little dining room table is a 3D print I made. Those chairs are from those little 1/48 dollhouse furniture assortments, like this chest of drawers here too with a mirror. Same with a bed frame. So I got to use some stuff that's been laying around. Here's a bathroom. Even 3D printed a little teepee roll. And bathtub's one of my prints too. Not the greatest thing, but it's a nice, it'll look nice, I think, through the windows. Good enough. So here's my diner kitchen with a grill and a prep table. So it's moving along. Trying to decide how much more detailing I want to do before I get into the final assembly. I have to install, this is my window glazing solution for the interior. It's these 3D printed interior window frames. So they kind of go in here like that. And they may interfere with, well, they will definitely interfere with the installation of the second floor here. So I'm trying to decide what the order of operations is gonna be when it comes time to final assembly. So that's why I'm trying to figure out just how much more detailing I'm gonna do in here. Definitely need some nice paintings and stuff on the wall, so be working on that too. And I printed a lot of extra stuff on this project. Here's that bookshelf. I made all the stuff in Tinkercad. I just, for my purposes, it's just so fast. All right, so I got my window frames in, and I'm adding some of these nice oil paintings to the rooms. So I ended up getting some new artista figures to put in here. So I got a couple diners and a waitress. And I don't know, I didn't want to fill this thing up and make it overcrowded. I'm going for a bit of a different vibe, you know. So I don't know, I wish I could find some more like Nighthawk looking characters to put in here. Maybe if I find some, the nice thing about doing these buildings the way I'm doing is that they're completely serviceable after I'm done. I can just simply, you know, lift the structure off and change details at will if I really feel like it. Here's our apartment view. I've added some details. I found a nice Stratocaster model in Tinkercad. I thought it was good enough. I rescaled it for O scale. And I got a kind of a, I got a combo amp sitting back there. I painted it a little tweed style, but yeah, it's kind of believable, I think. Here's an example. On the LED lighting, you see the nice warm glow I got on the dining room floor here. And in the same batch, I ended up with these kind of off-color jobbies. Not convinced you're getting the best quality LEDs when you buy these things. So I may play around with them. I added another resistor to kind of dull them down a little bit. I put a 470 ohm resistor in series with that circuit. I have 3 separate circuits now. I have the dining room and first floor. I have the table lamp circuit, and then the second floor lighting you can see there. You can see how I only did overhead lights in a few locations, a bathroom, front entry, and across this dining room. So I may try putting a little paint on these LEDs, see if I can get a better glow out of them. I did a few more details. I don't know if you could tell. I got some leftover diner stuff on the little table in there. I got a coffee pot, some mugs. I think I'm going to stop about here. I fished out some other details from my collection. I don't know if you can see this radio. I kind of printed a radio in Tinkercad. Old, like, cathedral style. Came out okay. You can barely see it. And you can see I've got some nice oil paintings on the walls and stuff. Bathroom's fully serviceable. And then you won't see much of this on my layout in its future location here. You're not going to be able to see much of this bedroom, so it would be nice to put an attractive female-bodied person in there, but you're not even going to see this room, which is kind of a shame. It's the back bedroom, and here's the bathroom, and of course I'll, address the leads here. I think this is my final setup for the figures. I got these $15 pack of 50 seated passenger car figures, and these are actually pretty nicely rendered for what they are, and they're already molded in kind of a fleshy color, and they're painted pretty primitively, but I got these two characters here. I got this lady. Maybe she's waiting on a date or got stood up. I don't know. Anyway, she's in the front window here, and I just did a little repainting on her. And same with this one here. I couldn't tell if she was wearing a hat or what, but she definitely seems to have a cigarette. And I thought these are kind of cool. I was looking for some soulful type figures for this scene, and I think I'm done. I don't want to do anything more on this dining room scene, so I move these guys around here. They're not glued in. If I find some more figures like this, like, I don't know, like Twin Peaks Diner type of vibe looking people, maybe I'll replace these in the future, but I think this is going to be good for now. She kind of looks like she's saying, "Where's he at? You better not be at the train store tonight." So this is what I was thinking with a cafe sign. I was going to mount it on a pole, but then, I don't know, I kind of thought it was cooler looking here. And I was trying to come up with some decaling for the windows. I really wanted, a diner sign on the window, but the decal film was kind of not lending itself to that effort. So I decided mounting a cafe sign, this Art Deco style here, over the front door was the way to go. However, I decided to do a little bit more refinement on it. So I thought I'd put the name on it completely, and I printed this one. Didn't come out so good. I needed more supports on the far end there. So to get a more crisp print, I added more supports. I also hollowed it, so I'll make a base for it, but right now I'm gonna paint this and see what it looks like. Already the front end is a lot more clean than this, because this was printed in 2 halves. I was able to get that curve on the front a little nicer. I don't have as much artifacting as I do on this one, I think because I had to print this on an angle. I've got some layer lines and some aliasing, I believe. If you look close, see that? There's lines going across there. So I tried my best to clean this up, but I'm gonna go with this one instead. Alright, so here's the basic idea. I've got a Q-tip with some lacquer thinner here, and I'm just cleaning the paint off the letters. All right, so here's our new and improved cafe sign. Got the full name on there now. So I put this 3mm styrene tube in here with a few of these SMD LEDs again. And I think it ought to be pretty cool. I'm gonna let this paint cure, let the tacky glue cure in there too. And then decide on my final paint scheme, and then I can reinstall it above the door and hopefully get it wired up and get everything put back together. All right, so at this point, I'm real anxious to get this put together and then get it installed on the layout. So you can see I've got the sign installed. I've got the support wires in place. I found a nice coffee graphic on the internet, turned it into a decal, and played around with it for a bit, and that's what I got. What I usually do with these decals is I'll use the outline of it and paint the background white and lay the decal over it with plenty of micro set so that it lays into the brick. And then I shot a little bit of clear over it, and just the way it came out, it kind of came out as like almost like a ghost sign, but maybe not so much a ghost sign yet, but on its way someday, you know. And I found a nice little white metal vent in my collection. I figure that's for the grill in the kitchen. All right, let's get this together. All right, so I have my LED circuits kind of dialed in the way I like for the brightness. I wanted some, kind of mood lighting up there in that apartment. So you can also see the batch of surface mount LEDs. They're a slightly different color up there, but anyway, they're dimmed down enough. I don't think it's going to matter. But this is pretty much ready to head out to the layout. Really looking forward to getting this out there. So let's get it out there. Let's get to it. All right, so here's our chosen spot for the cafe. And the reason why I left this wall kind of unadorned, I guess, is because I'm planning on putting the elbow room over here. So this building eventually will get some extra treatment done to it before it lands here permanently. I did build this with a removable roof years ago, so it may get kind of a mild interior. But anyway, this is the backside of Mercer in Maine, and this setup may not stay like this forever. I moved these around during the course of the Bessemer bar build and installation here. So anyway, this is the backside. So, I didn't really go too crazy detailing the back of this this building here because it's not going to be seen too much. So anyway, let's get into getting it put in place here, and I can commence with the wiring. So anyway, here's my wiring scheme using one of these cheap regulated DC power supplies that takes AC in, and I have it adjusted to 5 volts, and that's running, the Bessemer bar and some other lighted structures at the front of the layout. And here's our leads for the 4 separate circuits going into the cafe. I switched over to these little push lock terminal blocks. I had one of these come with the Woodland Scenics flasher there, and I really like them, so I just got a pack of them off of Amazon. And this hosts the extra dropping resistors I have. I have a 470 ohm resistor to drop that second floor circuit, so the lighting's a little more subdued. And I'll secure this wiring so that if I fire like a wild train box in here, I don't take out my intricate lighting here. All right, so here it is in place and lit. So I think I have pretty good lighting levels. I think I'm gonna stick with it. Here's what it'll look like in the day. So I keep thinking about moving some of these buildings around, but I'm really reluctant to move what I'm calling the old dream shack here. I really like that little house. I scratch built that thing years ago, and I just don't want to move it for some reason. The old pool hall there, I was kind of thinking of turning into something with a slightly lower roof line so you could see over, you know, kind of blocks that cafe a little bit. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. The looks like that decal worked out pretty good in the alley there. You could see it turning the corner. You know, eventually someday I might continue this street across the tracks here, but that'll be for a later date. Like I said, I want to go through my town here and kind of revamp a lot of things. All right, so here's a view from this direction, and you can see how the elbow room kind of, I think, complements that side of the building. So I'm gonna keep that wall kind of plain like that, and I think I'll work on that elbow room next. I'm gonna do a little mild interior on that and some lighting at the front. But I think I'm about ready to leave this video here. So here's a view from this direction, and that's gonna be the location for the elbow room. I'm gonna get to work on that, I think, next. And you know, I probably would have built this layout a little bit differently if I knew I was gonna get that into this deep into doing the interiors, you know. So I've got some other potential interiors. These next two houses going up the hill, these are a couple of nice craftsman kits I built years ago. And one, this one here with the lady sweeping the porch, this has like walls already in place. But I thought both of these might be nice. I can use up some of my 3D prints that I did for these other two builds. So anyway, that's about what we're looking like. And I hope you found this video hopefully not too long again. I got to reuse a building that's been laying around in the shop for a while, and I think it adds some interest. And it gets me into thinking about how I want to change the layout in the hopefully near future. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.